Hey, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. I first want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for being patient with me last week. I had every intention, right, to be able to come and reach out to you guys and have the usual conversations that we have, but life was lifing, and exactly what I am going to be talking to you all about this evening is what prevented me from being able to come and talk to you all last week. So this week, I'm about to take y'all through a whole series, just based off of the things that have been going on in my life, how everything has been moving, and how everything has been like, I kid you not, straightforward motion. I'm going to talk to you all about activating in your purpose, right? Because if you're not walking, if you're not talking, if you're not living in the space of your purpose, what is it that you're doing here in the first place? And I had to take a temporary break, from last week's episode because I was truly activated in my purpose. So if any of y'all know me in real life, if any of you guys have given me the opportunity to really listen to, the things that I speak on and what it is that I say, then you all know that I was anticipating and preparing for a very special moment to occur in my life. And guess what? That moment actually occurred for me about 2 weeks ago. The moment that I'm speaking on is the fact that my daughter was finally able to come to Tulsa. She is here, y'all, and I cannot be more excited. Of course, she's getting on my nerves because that's just, kid to parent type thing. But I love my child nonetheless, and I have prayed and waited very diligently for this moment, this pivotal moment in where I am right now in my life to occur, because without her being here, without her being with me, I knew that I was not able to activate into the true purpose, the true essence of who God has called and created me to be, right? So now that she's here, the universe is like, all right, cool. It's time for you to take off. It's time for you to make all these things happen. It's time for you to grow and settle deeper into the purpose that it is that I have created for you. Cool. So last week I wasn't able to come and talk with you guys because last week my daughter and I had our first Sunday where we went out into the community at Archer and Greenwood to be able to just sit out there, be in the essence of Black Wall Street, see all the people that pass by, make new friends, new customers. We got to have a little impromptu kickback with a couple of people that know us and have been very excited for her to come too. Shout out to all of y'all. The new tribe, the new village, um, that not only she has now in her life, but that I have now in my life too. It's like, yeah, now is definitely the time. So the series that we're about to go into now is kind of about that, right? Because here at the Clarity Coaching Collective Sunday Sit Down Space, what we talk about is the whole person. We don't talk about bits and pieces. We don't talk about this and not talk about that, and vice versa. I want everyone to enter into the space in their lives where wholeness actually becomes a lifestyle. Because if there's anything I feel that's lacking in your life, whether it is in your parental space, whether it is in your adult child space, significant other, self-love and um personal reflection space, career, all of it matters because wherever you're lacking in one area of your life, it is going to impact or possibly delay another area of your life being able to come to fruition like it is. So, briefly, like what we're going to talk about today is just what does activating in your purpose look like? And it looks like different things for different people, right? Like, I feel like ever since I came back to Tulsa 4 years ago, that I've been getting more accustomed to who I am, if you will, right? So I've been getting more into the space of figuring out who is Nicole Latrice. If you've watched any of my earlier conversations, and if you happen to miss out on them, I'll go ahead and give you um the punchline of what I'm talking about. So prior to now, I've known what life is like kind of in service of other people, right? I know that that is my purpose, to serve and serve other people. And honestly, somebody confirmed that for me this weekend when I had to, step in and help a fellow vendor friend to be able to manage what she was called to do herself. And the gentleman who noticed it, he pulled me to the side and he was like, "You know what? I noticed that you feel comfortable serving people." I'm like, "Honestly, yeah, I do." And that's when I told him just what I told you guys. My purpose is to serve and be of service. I don't need a reward. I don't need accolades. I don't need any of that to do the things that I know I need to do for the people that I love, the people who have been brought into my life. That is a part of me activating in my purpose. And honestly, I've been activating in that space ever since I started vending out on Greenwood because we are a community. We are a tribe. The vendors that come out and connect with the community, they show up and show out. Y'all, it was 100 and something degrees yesterday, but we were out there and we were doing what we needed to do. So if my vendor companion has a business that in the summertime when it's hot, she's really booming, I don't want her to miss out on any of her people. I don't want to miss out on mine either. But that was the right moment to be able to do it. So I got to activate into another level of being able to serve and be of service, activating deeper into my purpose. I in the relationship space or lack thereof, I had told myself because it was put on my heart that being in a relationship at this moment in time, at this space, like prior to my daughter coming, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing because I didn't want anyone to get accustomed to or to get used to my daughter not not being here. So what my life was like with the fact that she wasn't here yet, right? So I didn't want anyone to get accustomed to what I don't even want to say single, what non-kid having Nicole looks like, right? I didn't want anyone to get used to that. So I wanted to be able to settle into the space of getting to know people. I enjoy having conversations with people. I enjoy seeing the different energies that people give off. And I just wanted to be comfortable in that space. Now, some of y'all lately, like y'all energy and just what y'all been on, hey, if we don't talk anymore, it's a reason behind it. You know what it is. But there is, and when I activated into or deeper into my purpose, there's a certain type of energy that I can't have, not only for myself, but I can't have it for my kid either. Um, sorry. Yeah, so I couldn't have that. If it's something that I don't get down with, or if it's something that I don't condone in my own personal life, then it's surely something that I cannot condone and get down with for the life that I have with my daughter, right? Because I'm raising a queen. She looks exactly like me. So it's like older Nicole looking at younger Nicole, like, yeah, girl, no, get it together. And it's a whole lot of stuff that now at this moment in my life, looking through my daughter's eyes, that a lot of things for me are coming back full circle. And I hope that God is blessing me with the means to see like really what it comes like full circle with how I experienced it versus how I can assist her going through some similar things and being able to see that everything is okay on both sides. Um, so yeah, I needed to be able to get to a point to where I could activate deeper into my parental space because we had been apart for 4 years. So it's I guess for lack of a better term, kind of parenting at a distance. Some of y'all parent at a distance and y'all kids is still in Tulsa. I'm just saying. Like people, we need to do better. Like blaming the other parent or the previous situation or whatever the case may be, don't none of that matter. Do what you need to do for the sake of your kids. But for some of y'all, y'all may need to activate in your honesty in order for you to be able to be a better parent to your kid. Some of y'all may need to find and or activate in somebody else's term of integrity and be able to do what you need to do for the sake of your kid. Some of y'all need to bite that bullet and just simply grow up and say you are not the best individual to be someone in your child's life. All of these things are hard decisions. Like I said, I had a parent for 4 years from 589 miles away. I know the struggles that people go through, but if I had to go through my own struggle and if I was the one who was able to make it through to my sense of the other side, right? Like me being able to activate deeper into my purpose of parenting, her father cannot tell me how to be a mom just like I cannot tell him how to be a father. We have to kind of break whatever the cycle of contention, foolishness, resentment, you fill in your own words right there, whatever you are experiencing and going through with your child's mother or father, you have to let it go for the sake of the child, right? That comes from the space of boundaries. Boundaries are not necessarily a bad thing. When you try to punish someone with your boundaries, that's when you come into problems. That's when you come into arguments. That's when you come into knockdown, drag out fights. But if you are doing and establishing your boundaries for the sake of you and what you need to be able to be the parent that you need to be to your kid, whether the other parent understands it or they don't, you just got to live in the space of your boundaries. I saw a post and this was a while back now, but I saw a post that said your boundaries are for you to get used to first, for you to grow comfortable with. Because if you're not comfortable with them, no one else is going to be comfortable with them. If you don't uphold them, the other parent is not going to uphold them. Your boundaries need to be in place. When you activate deeper into your purpose, you understand the value, the good weight that boundaries actually place not only on you but on other people too. Some people can't um they can't bear the weight of your boundaries, right? Nothing wrong with that. If someone cannot bear the weight, excuse me, of your boundaries, then that person doesn't need to be with you, right? Because God built us to be able to carry our own weight. And don't get me wrong, we have support channels now. We have therapists and life coaches and mentors. We have all these different resources and people that we can rely on to make sure that the weight that we're carrying is properly supported when it needs to be. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility, especially when you activate in your purpose, to carry your own weight. Let me see, how else have I activated in my career space, right? So, life for me in the last 4 years has taken a lot of different twists and turns. So I am an accountant by trade, did it for about 10 years. And then the last time I made a transition out of accounting, the way everything transpired and how the company really wasn't aware of what they were looking for and what they needed me to do. I think it was really because I was highlighting a lot of deficiencies within the company. And yeah, nobody wants to be told y'all are lacking, especially as a company. But yeah, once I made the transition out of that company, it was just like I started to realize like accounting wasn't for me. I wasn't happy in it. I wasn't being fulfilled by it. It just became something that was mundane and routine. And I knew that it would make me a certain amount of money to be able to support myself and my child coming in the future. But God then put it in my heart where I am now a pharmacy technician. Been doing that for about a year and a half. And this is my regular job. This is that 9 to 5. This is that corporate avenue, right? Because y'all know what I be out here doing. Um, but the Lord blessed me to be able to become a pharmacy technician, to be able to start getting knowledge about the pharmaceutical world, being able to interact with patients and, vendors and the delivery people and stuff like that. So it was a different level of activation that I was able to be in, but it in the beginning was a very uncomfortable space of activation that I was going into. And young Nicole, high school Nicole, math and science were not my thing. That was not my jam whatsoever. And if I was to tell myself back then that you would enter into a position where you literally had to do math and science every day, I would laugh in my own face because I never would have imagined that. Like I flunked chemistry twice, okay, and had to go to summer school. That's the only way they let me move on from that. But now, kind of fast forward, I'm still doing pharmacy technician, but now things are activating in my original business of cake doubles. So, for those of you that don't know, I am also a baker as well, and I love baking. I started baking since before I was, um, I don't really know what age, but I would tell I remember it was before I could see over the stove on my own, right? So just imagine little Nicole on the stool, like just observing and seeing what's going on in the kitchen. My grandmother, my mom, and my aunt, the three, most important ladies in my life, they're the ones that taught me how to cook and or bake, right? So fast forward to now, Cake Doubles was launched in 2012 in Houston when I was living out there. And prior to now, like Cake Doubles, it had its successes in the very beginning, even with the thought process behind my concept, how I take the traditional desserts that people grow up eating and turn them into cake in a jar or cupcake form. Cupcakes is where I really started in the beginning, but to fast forward now to the advances and where my business and my career are leading me to, like Nicole, long time ago, she didn't like to talk to public. She didn't like to speak in the public. Now, I'm not saying you can't get me to shut up, but now it's not as uncomfortable, right? Because I've activated in the purpose of having to talk to people in order to connect with them and grow my business and be able to really provide them some sweet goodness through the treats that we bake and make at the bakery. Also, my grandmother gets to continue to live on every time I tell the story of me being able to see me being able to bake since before I could see over the stove. She taught me how to bake. That she is where my love of baking comes. And back then, everything was so simple, right? Like she would make her lemon cake mix and do just a lemon glaze, but that became our tradition. Now I've elevated the recipe a little bit to where it's just like, okay, like it has both of our stamps on it, but it started with the original. Now that I have my daughter and I'm, kind of taking her and teaching her not just baking, but how to do business and finding her own way and being able to give her the opportunities to create her own stamp within our business. That's going to be her business when I'm no longer here. That is purpose, right? So with purpose, you can't just see the here and now. In all of those stories, in case you missed it, my purpose was activated back then. But I didn't know it was called purpose. I didn't know that I was gonna take it and run with it like, somebody going into the end zone. That's your only sports reference. Don't get it twisted. I'm not the biggest sports person whatsoever. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Like to go from there to the bumps in the road in Houston and feeling like the business wasn't just really successful and trying to figure out the back end part of trying to market and get all of that stuff down. Shout out to Ray Burrell and Tina, right? Without those ladies, I wouldn't be the saleswoman that I am today. I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to each and every one of you guys that comes and experiences what Cake Doubles has to offer. But I've activated deeper and higher into where I am going with my career, so much also to where I have a couple of good opportunities that are going to take me even further into the community. Speaking of which, that's another avenue, of being able to activate in is in community. I have been told several times that for myself, I don't think like most people. The way I go about things is not like, people would do, but that's who God created me to be. And I would disserve myself, I guess you will, if I didn't do things according to what God has put on the inside of me. So much so, we're like earlier today, within the span of being at church from the beginning to the end, I was able to engage in connection and conversation of being able to go out in the community. All right, somebody needed something that a person at the church felt like they weren't getting. What can we do to make sure that that's a resource or that's an avenue that we tap into to make sure that if someone walks off the street in the church, that there is some sort of resource hub, whether it is just the information that is given to that person or whether it is food, non-perishable, clothes, non-perishable items, women's sanitary products, products for people to, be able to bathe themselves and stuff like that. Maybe that's something that, yeah. All right, Lord, I got it. And that's how quickly it works. Like I had a whole download from the Lord and all right, I know where I'm finna go. But all the way up to being able to partner with people in the community on trying to put something on for the youth because I see what it is. I see all the changes as someone who left Tulsa for 18 years, got to be in a major city, see how things are done, see the resources, see the parks, see the events, see all this stuff that other places have that Tulsa no longer has. But we wonder why. One, I wonder why Tulsa no longer has it between the time I left and the time I'm back down. To why is everyone just so quick to write the youth off as a lost cause because of the things that happen. Now, you can't save them all, but you shouldn't leave them all either. You do have some good kids in this community who would love an opportunity to showcase their talent, be able to help rebuild or plant something. Um, but we can't just leave them. We can't just distance ourselves from them. We were them at one point. We may not have really been on the level that they on, but we're also not internet babies either, right? So it's just like it's two different dynamics but the same issue. Give them something to do, even if they cut up in that something to do. All right, the message needs to be the same. You must conduct yourself in a certain manner in order to be a participant in these things. When our stuff, when our stuff launches, we not gonna stop it just because one kid decides to act out. That kid will no longer be able to, be a part of the event and the festivities. But we cannot penalize the other kids for one kid acting the way that they're acting. But again, activating deeper into the community, in who I am as a woman, like just looking at myself in not a completely different way, but still in a different way at the same time. It's just like when you, how can I explain it? Okay, so I wear scrubs to work, right? Scrub tops, scrub bottoms, tennis shoes, hair to be up in a ponytail, up in one of these wraps, or very few and far in between. They'll get it down. Um, but I wear scrubs. So I have a very set routine when it comes to my clothing and attire. Plus, I have also lost weight that I am now putting back on now. I'm 113 pounds. I am proud to say. Whoop, whoop. Y'all ain't got to celebrate me, but I'm going to celebrate myself, right? So, yeah, I got into a mundane routine of, well, I got to wear scrubs every day anyways. What I need to have clothes on for? Y'all don't take that the wrong way. That came out of in my head way different. Why do I have to have a particular set of clothes on? There was a gentleman, um, was it last Sunday? It was. There was a gentleman when my daughter and I were out there selling last Sunday, and he made the comment and he said, when you look good, you feel good. Okay, not to say that I didn't feel bad. It's just like, all right, Nicole, why do you do what you do when you dress the way that you dress? Everything don't have to be jeans and a t-shirt. Everything ain't gotta be some sneakers and some scrubs. Sometimes you can, as y'all like to say, pop out and show these boys, hey, I like to look the way that I like. I'm not doing it for nobody. I'm not doing it to try to impress nobody. If that's what happens when you see me, hey, I can't do nothing about that. But this is me being me. I am a woman. I am proudly 41 years old. I am getting back. A work in progress. I am getting back to loving the way that my body looks, especially after all that I've been through, having a kid and stress and all. Like, no, but I just need to see me, right? Really see me. Like, I've never been the type of person to do too much intentionally, but when I do what I do, people notice intentionally. So yesterday at the Deep Greenwood Vendors Market, shout out to the D Greenwood vendors organizers. All I had on was literally a t-shirt, a Cake Doubles t-shirt, and some shorts. And just like I got like two crazy comments, and I know the people who said it or whatever, so I wasn't tripping. But one of them, they know me for baking, so they make it a point to come around and talk to several different vendors at the beginning of the vending event. And the comment that was made to me, and it was by a woman, the comment that was made to me, she was like, oh, I see you got all the cakes out today, not just meaning the cakes on the table, the cake in the jar. She was making a reference to the gluteus maximus cakes, okay? And I'm like looking, and I'm just like, you would swear people have never seen me in shorts. But what that comment did to me was like, maybe you haven't just dress. You know what I'm saying? Because even with most of my vending events, if I have on shorts, it's jeans, shorts, and I mean it's shorts, the t-shirt, and sneakers. And I'm talking about sneakers. But I don't know if it was the cut of the shorts, the slimness, or the length, but it was something about them NASCAR shorts yesterday that, yeah, many people noticed. But you got to take heed to what people are saying. Like, I like to dress. I like to look nice. Like I got on a nice little dress right now because it was hot as HE double hockey sticks outside. But again, if you're gonna activate in the purpose of dressing in a particular way, that purpose needs to be for you and nobody else. And there will come a later conversation where a lot of people may not like me, but it's gonna have to happen. These younger girls, not younger women, these younger girls walking around almost bearing it all, either with their cakes hanging out or exposure of the chestal area. And it's just like I started to engage in that conversation with someone, not intentionally doing it, but just I guess kind of testing the waters to see if, and he was like, oh, you got to walk a fine line with that because then it comes to the space of trying to tell someone what they can and cannot wear. It is never my intention to tell anyone specifically what they can and cannot wear. My purpose, my deeper wish in activating in that conversation is just to make sure, why are you doing it? There's a why in everything, right? Maybe you saw these ladies saw their moms dressing that way, or maybe an auntie told them, hey, you got to use what you got to get what you want, like on Players Club. Maybe there's something that they feel at a deficit for in their own self worth, their own appearance, that they feel like they have to put on this facade to make sure that nobody really sees, excuse me, what it is that they have going on. In engaging with these ladies, my hope is whatever their reason is, if it is a reason specifically catered to them, meaning one that they created for themselves, right? That they have no rebuttal, no, well, but like they are solid, walking fully in the law of this is the reason why I do this, I'll leave it alone with that lady. But if it's with that girl, if it's not, all right, let's really have a talk about what's going on. Let's see where you are. Let's see how you feel. Let's see where you do or don't see yourself. Because I've been there. I told y'all for 34 years of my life, I didn't see myself. I was aware, but seeing myself like I see myself now, no, I didn't see that. So if what I went through, if I can take that and talk to the younger girls to try to help them never get to that point, because if you don't see yourself, you're gonna let a man see you. And we already got all these issues with older men and younger girls. Same thing with older women and younger boys. But my heart is for the girls. I don't discourage nobody. If it's a whole bunch of young men that end up coming to me, hey, I'm gonna turn y'all to the fellas. Y'all want a woman's opinion, a woman's mindset? I'm cool to be there. But we have to start to understand as we activate into our purposes of male and female. Sometimes you gotta let a man address a boy and a woman address a girl. And once those rapports are established, then it becomes a safe space for a man to give his opinion on female issues and a woman to give her opinion on male issues. But it's never anyone trying to tell the other, you have to do this or you should do it this way. We all need information from both sides, right? And if we really G about it and are really wanting to truly activate into our space, we would feel more comfortable about having those conversations. So, Kate, or sorry, the Sunday sit down, I just got off of Greenwood, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. My brain's still switching modes. But we're about to start taking these conversations out into the community to start mixing and mingling more so people can really see what it's like to be able to engage in these conversations. Like, I'm the type of person, there's nothing that anyone can say that will make me clutch my pearls, like whatsoever. I might be like, dang, are you really feel that way? But I'm not taking it in. I want to be able to have a space and promote a space where if a man sees something, hey, bruh, voice your opinion. I'ma hear you, but just because you said what you said, that doesn't mean I'ma fully switch up who I am to fit your narrative and vice versa. But if we as men and women aren't mixing and mingling and having these conversations, then we're still doing a disservice to our children first, our children as well, because kids need to be raised by both male and female energy. All this, oh, boys that were raised by women is too soft. That's because y'all knuckers wasn't in the picture. That kid didn't have no male energy. You was too busy being upset with, the mother of your children and what she was doing or what she accused you of doing that you forgot about your kid in the mix. That's happened. That's what it used to be back in the day. We don't have to be like that no more. Purpose looks different. Just because you're not with the parent, other parent of your child, that doesn't mean you have to have anything bad to say to them. Let me tell y'all something. Let me put y'all up on game. Come closer. You are a G or a gangster when it comes to The other parent, if you just choose not to say nothing at all, that's really killing the game. That's really putting them in the space of, dang, she don't say nothing about me no more, or he don't say nothing about me no more. That means you can freely move on and live your life. Now, I'm going to have something to say if what you do affects our child, but I'm never going to tell you from the standpoint of you. Hey, our child is feeling like, or hey, our child has said that. Not talking about the other person at all is the biggest flex you could ever do, even when it comes to your exes. When you move around from a situation and a person to never speak on or speak about that person again, man, that's on a whole different other level of peace. That ain't a choice of peace, that's a decision of peace. We're all God's children. Bible says, judge not lest ye be judged first. What I need to worry about what that man doing if he wasn't the man that I needed him to be? Or what do you need to worry about what that woman is doing if she wasn't the woman that you needed her to be? It don't matter no more. Accept that fact and move forward. Become the woman or the man that you need to be, even on the other side of that experience. Because life don't stop. One pony don't stop no show, baby. You too beautiful for all that. Your purpose is greater than all of that. And like I said at the beginning, that's why your girl currently ain't in a relationship right now. And this is the first time, like, I really low key have felt comfortable talking about and like straight up saying that, right? Because I need to walk in the space of purpose that I'm currently in. I'm not, y'all hear me clearly. I'm not saying I don't want a significant other. I'm not saying I don't want the one that God has specifically designed and deemed is mine. I look forward to being able to be married again, and this marriage being the marriage that my kid talks about for her entire lifetime. Being able to see what a true example and reflection of love look like, no matter what the situation is. But the people that I have interacted with up until this point, nah, they wasn't. They wasn't it. They wasn't my bad. See, I hit my thing. It was like, nah, we not talking about that fools. But they started out in the beginning, being able to display a characteristic or a trait that I genuinely have been looking for when it comes to being in a relationship. Communication, um, certain level of consistency. I have to say a certain level because consistently will look different for each person, right? So if you are dating, you'll look for a certain level of consistency that that person shows. If y'all are no longer dating and you find someone new, then you begin to look for a certain level of consistency within that person. Now, you yourself should have your own requirements of what consistent things you're looking for, like communication, consideration, effort, intention, whatever your list. I hate to say that because, it can be a bad thing. Whatever your non negotiables are, you need to operate from the space of those first, right? Because, no, I mean, this world we live in is like you can't even say what you want to say. So, for the people that are like me, these are the consistent things that no matter what, whether you got a job, don't got a job, whether we up or we down, the list that I'm talking about are the things that should not change. We should not ever stop communicating. We should not ever stop being considerate of one another because we're evolutionary creatures, right? We all got our sugar honey iced tea that we're going to end up going through. But just because you're going through something at that time does not mean that you should not be consistent with me. And if there's a space of consistency that you feel is lacking, then you should be able to communicate so that we can get back to a new sense of consistency. Consideration, you should always consider the person that you're engaging with because energy is precious and energy is like the currency of time right now. It's the thing that you can't get back. It's the thing that don't nobody be wanting to be wasted. All right, shirt coming out soon and say, my time, my choice. So effort, intention, whatever your list consists of, stand firm in it, but be realistic. Like if you in the space of, oh, he got to make 8 figures and hey, God bless you if you find that person or if you're a materialistic person, because those things come and those things go sometimes just as quick as they come. But in the state of this economy and what we're facing, it's not. Well, it can be. For me, it's gonna be easy. Yeah, I'm millionaire status. I'm not playing. But realistically, everybody's not designed to be millionaires. Everybody's not going to be able to achieve the space of being a millionaire. And then if you yourself are not a millionaire or millionaire worthy, like what gives you the right to require those things from somebody that you can't even provide those things to yourself? I'm the type of person, and I guess this is purpose activation talking. I'm the type of person bring the table to the table so we can eat buffet style. Yeah, you gonna have to clean up your table. I'm gonna have to clean up my table. But when we put that food on that table, baby, we gonna eat. Okay? And we ain't never gonna run out of sustenance to eat. That's activating deeper in the purpose of what do I want my relationship to look like? Because I mean, I'm not doing all this to, be with somebody who just wants, I don't even know. In this day and age, if there ain't something that you want, if there ain't something that you hustling towards, if there ain't a goal that you trying to achieve, or something at least that you want, a lot of people don't know their goals, in my opinion. A lot of people are aware of their wants, right? So if you know what you want, and then if you activate with someone like me who is very goal and detail oriented, then we can put those things together and we can make a plan. But you got to feel comfortable letting me in to be able to do those things. And if you have not activated in your purpose enough to feel comfortable for me to be aware of that information, I'm sorry, not sorry, but we can't go forward. We can't collect $200 because you're not ready on at least that level. You lack a certain level of maturity, in my standpoint, if you're engaging with someone and you can't talk to them about your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, right? Because that doesn't make you less than. Now, if it's kind of unrealistic for where you are, if it's unrealistic in the sense that you don't know what your purpose or how to really get to that thing that you're wanting, yeah, you'll lose a little bit of the audience. Okay, like you really want to do all that and you 45 already? Like, sheesh. How is that gonna happen? But if you know what you want and maybe you lack a plan, still talk about what you want. Seek help to make the plan, and that'll make you be someone who is deeper and further activated into where they're going within their purpose. When it comes to activating in your purpose, always and in all ways, it is a constant process. And I know a lot of people will hear that word constant and be like, oh, here we go. Another obligation, another thing that we have to be responsible for. You are responsible for you, fool. What is you talking about? Like, if you're living and breathing, you have a responsibility to move your life forward. Even the displaced people, they still have to move forward. They still got to get food. They still got to get water. They still got to find a way to seek shelter. The vast majority of them got dogs, so they got to take care and get them dogs fed and get them dogs water. No one, no one has the opportunity to not do something to push their lives forward. even if you don't want to call it purpose, right? You still have to continue to forward, move forward, move forward. Because if you don't, like, I had a conversation with my daughter earlier today, and I asked her a question. And honestly, I asked her this question before she even came because I wanted, her to be able to have her input on what this thing called this season in our life looked like, right? Because we had been apart for 4 years. So I asked her, I said, what does our future life together look like to you? She said, I don't know, Mom. I can't answer that right now. Yeah, I'm giving her the side eye, like, okay. And so, like, a minute passed, and I thought to myself, I was like, Nicole, try to rephrase it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you asked an 11-year-old, what do you want your life to look like? They don't really look at things from that standpoint, right? So when I rephrased the question, I was like, okay, well, what do you want our future life to look like? She had the same response. And when I heard her say, I don't know, it was just like my mind was blown. You mean to tell me you don't know anything about the way you want our lives to look like? You don't know anything that you want us to be able to do together? Like, and these are just the things that I'm talking about, right? Like, what do you want us to do? How do you want us to spend time? What type of foods do you want, us to be able to try? What experiences do you want us to share together? And I get it, like, talking about that like that to an 11-year-old, it can seem, like it'll go right over her head. But you're growing up. If you don't know if you don't know, and if you don't start to look at what you want your life to look like, your life will end up somewhere that you never expected. And I don't even know who needs to hear that in the space of me talking to my 11-year-old, but it's true. Your purpose, activating in your purpose in all ways, it gets you to a better quality of life designed only for you, right? Because I would be crazy to compare what I do, how I do it, the gifts that God has given me to what I think I see anyone else doing, right? And I wouldn't want anyone else to look at me and what I do and feel like whatever they are doing, however they talk, however they go about things, to feel like that they are inferior because of their own comparison to me. As a matter of fact, that happened yesterday, right? So it's just like at the Deep Greenwood Vendors Market, hey, we got them bakers on deck, right? So yesterday there was three of them within the same space, and I'm aware of both of the other two bakers. Shout out to them both. Like, the fact that y'all come out there, the fact that y'all set up, the fact that y'all, hold it down and tough it out with us OGs, like, I remember, I remember for cake doubles where y'all are now. Let me be the one to tell you, just keep going. Anything you think you can't do now, you'll get over it and you'll figure out what it is that you can do and what you need to do. So I was the first baker on the scene. And, I had my setup, everything was going. Hey, cool. Then the next baking vendor showed up, and it was after the start time was supposed to be. And the baker set up on the side of me. I'm like, okay. Before any issues get started and before any, like, real customers come, let me talk to the coordinator. And I talked to the coordinator at the time, and she was like, Oh no, it'll be okay. Everyone's gonna make their sales. As a business owner, how can you tell me that everyone is going to make their sales and be successful if you have two people doing the same thing right next to each other? I don't even care that it's two different styles of baked goods. It's still two people who sell baked goods right next to one another. So it is comparison. It is competition because that as a customer, I'm going to come up to the table to see who has what appeals to me. And don't get me wrong, it would be that way anyways because it's a small space that we vend in. I'm cool with that. I've gone through that, right? But if someone has baked goods that are sold for a lesser price than the person selling baked goods on the side of them, you're instantly creating this vacuum of comparison. You're instantly creating this vacuum of competition. It doesn't need to be. So this baker was moved directly across from me. Okay, again, I'm not a shady person. I want everybody to be able to do what they gonna do. And I know what Cake Doubles does. Okay, so it's just like it ain't hurting me. So a different organizer came and I brought up the same concern, and the organizer's like, oh no, it shouldn't be like that. And don't get me wrong, like I said, we've had other baking vendors there. There was a separation on opposite sides of the space to make sure everyone can make their sales. And I made it a point yesterday to go up to this baker and say, hey, I don't want you to feel like, you did anything wrong. I don't want you to feel bad about any of this. This is so that you will be able to have your own shine, that you can be in your own space, and that you can make the sales that you need to make. Right? I went to him and said that because it's the truth. Me activating into the space of where I am as a business owner and seeing another upcoming business owner in the same industry, I'm not going to do anything to discourage them. I am here to uplift and elevate people. And that's exactly what I did yesterday, activating deeper in my purpose as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur. Like, that's just how I operate. That's how I roll. Some other people would let the dice roll and let, you know, the wolves have it out. That I'm not no wolf. I am a lioness. I am that silent hunter. I am the one, right? They can just sit back, chill, and be like, okay, we gonna make the best of this situation. And then, because it's almost time for us to go, I have enjoyed the conversation, by the way. So like I said, it's gonna be an 11-week series. And all of the weeks, except for, like, of course, next Sunday is our financial Sunday, our typical financial Sunday here on the Sunday Sit Down with Terrence Jones. 'Cause like I said, I want y'all to be whole people. Whole people means whole people. It don't mean your personal life, but not your finances. It don't mean your finances and not your parenting, skills and style. It don't mean parenting and not business. Like, we gonna touch on it all. But specifically for this series that I'm taking you on, it is legitimately just a series about activating within your purpose. Whatever that purpose looks like. Matter of fact, drop it below in the comments. What does activating in your purpose look like for you? Don't be shy. We all are a community. We all are a tribe trying to get this thing together. And we going to get it together. So, answer the question below. I'll be reading each and every one of your comments and reaching out to you individually. Just to offer some encouragement, words of support, seeing if you need any assistance to be able to figure out, one, what does it mean for you to activate in your purpose? And once you figure out what it means to do that, then you got to figure out how. right? And if that's something that you would like assistance with from me as the Elevated Mindset coach here at the coaching, or the Clarity Coaching Collective, I'm all for it, right? Because I've lived it and I'm still living it. So you don't have to stay where you are at all times. It's time to rise up, activate in our purposes, always and in all ways. Hey, as always, I love each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all sincerely from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to sit down and chat with your girl today on the Sunday sit down where we were talking about activating in your purpose. As I said not too long ago, next Sunday, be sure to tune in because it is with the one and only Terrence Jones, owner of Paladin Tax Services, where he is going to bring you some more financial knowledge to help you. If y'all trying to be millionaires like I am, you need help. If y'all are trying to get out of your financial issues, y'all need help. If y'all are trying to build generational wealth, y'all need help. If y'all are trying to build a legacy financially that you can leave for your children and generations that come behind you, y'all need help. So y'all need to tune in and listen to what Terrence Jones is going to have to say to you guys. I hope each and every one of you guys have a very good week. Big ups to my daughter. Let me just say this before I go. She has been accepted to be in the Future CEO camp here this week in Tulsa at Build in Tulsa. Build in Tulsa is a really good, amazing business development organization, and I'm super excited for my daughter to be able to take part in this camp this week. She does have a pitch competition that is coming on Saturday, the 26th. I will be streaming it so you guys can see, the amazing young entrepreneurs, because it's middle school and high school, the young entrepreneurs that are signing up, taking part in this, and we got some future change makers that are on their way. Hey, y'all be wearing watch out. And then stay tuned to your girl and, see all the amazing things that I have going on, getting out into the community, the pop-ups with Cake Doubles, the youth events with Legacy Accelerator and, other youth organizations. And yeah, we about to make some things shake. So until I see y'all next week, I love each and every one of y'all. I hope you go out and live a good life filled with real love and all of the above. So until next time, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see each and every one of you tomorrow, next Sunday at 7 p.m. here on the Sunday Sit Down.